So our topic for today is ego versus heart, and it's one of my absolute favorites to chat on because once I had this revelation, the doors started opening for me. So to give you a little bit of backstory, I before I had my kids, I was a full time personal trainer, and I managed a studio in West Seneca. And if you had asked me at that point in time in my life if I thought who I was and my self-worth was tied to my genes, I would have told you not, absolutely not. Like, no, it's not tied to my genes. Like, what are you crazy? Like, I know who I am. Um, and I was very confident in myself. And then I had my daughter. And everyone told me, oh, the weight's gonna just fall right off of you. Nothing fell right off of me. And I was so sick through my whole pregnancy that I didn't work out through my whole pregnancy. Um, and so it was one of those things where I did not know how closely my gene size really truly did affect how I felt about myself. Because once I had my daughter and my body had changed, I no longer had the confidence I had before, even though my body had produced this amazing little human. And I remember for the first time in my life, it was really a struggle. Like I will never forget the first burpee I did after having her. For years, I never understood why my clients hated burpees. And then all of a sudden I had her and I went to do a burpee and was like, oh, my feet don't come back in. Like they don't do that. Right? Like all of a sudden all these things started happening and it was so humbling. Um, and I can say that looking back now, it was humbling. At the time, it was devastating. I I had no confidence left. I did not feel I felt like I constantly wanted to hide. I didn't want to go anywhere. And I'll tell you, at her first birthday, I still was not in my pre-baby clothes. Um, but in that time, I had this major revelation in which I felt like I was supposed to get my body back, which is a term I absolutely hate. But the more I sat and thought about it, and the more I actually questioned myself, I realized I really didn't. I wanted to love myself where I was. So my ego kept telling me I needed to lose the weight. I need to lose the weight. I need to lose the weight. But my heart kept telling me I had different priorities now. My life was not what it was before I had this baby. I no longer I no longer had hours to give in the gym. I was no longer sleeping 8 hours a day, or a night. I didn't sleep through the day. I slept through the night. Um, I was no longer doing any of that. All of a sudden, all I was doing was like she went down, and if I could get her to sleep for 15 minutes, I didn't know whether I should wash the dishes, drink a cup of coffee, close my eyes, or do a couple squats. Like I didn't know what to do. So once I started realizing that my ego and my heart weren't aligning, I started finding inner peace because your ego is the thing that's constantly telling you what you want. And when you're not reaching your goals, it's because your heart is telling you something totally different. So if you've tried 100,000 times to lose weight and it's not happening, and you can't get off the sugar and you can't get off the carbs and you can't do this, this, and this, there's a disconnect between ego and heart. And I've been there, and it can be very painful. I don't say that to make it sound like it's something that's very easy and simple. It can be a very painful experience. It was for me. Um, but what I realized when I really started searching deep within was that I didn't actually care if I lost the weight. I just wanted to feel at peace. I didn't want to do the things I would need to do to lose the weight. Um, Things that in the past were not a problem for me, but suddenly they were like, "Oh, I you want me to skip these cookies? Oh, you want me to make dinner? Oh, drink water?" Like Nothing is what I wanted to do. So that was really the start of how body love kind of came to fruition way back then before I even realized it. And what we do now through this program is really try to identify where is your ego and where is your heart. Where is your ego? Your ego is the society pressures. It's the idea that everything is going to be better if you just lose 10 pounds, if you just lose this. Your heart is what you really want. That's your true path. That's your true self. And so when we can get them on the same line, it's amazing what can happen. Um and so that's really just that's always our first topic in body love. So I'm